Hello, welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television with the most important events of the day. I am your host, İlham Məmmədov. President İlham signed an executive order on the design and construction of Böyükşor-Pirşağı Highway. According to the executive order, in the initial stage, 4,700,000 manats are allocated to Avtomobil Yolları State Agency for the construction of 12.7 km long 6-lane Böyükşor-Pirşağı Highway in order to reduce the density of traffic in Baku. Armenia cannot accept military, diplomatic and informational defeat in the South Caucasus. Therefore, the fronts of the war against Azerbaijan are changing. Now, international organizations are stepping in.
Armenia and its patrons, as well as the Armenian lobby, separatist terrorist organizations, are giving messages that they will change the direction of the war against Azerbaijan on the political plane, on the military field, and at the diplomatic plane. Although this is an attempt to win small victories and regain lost public reputation, Armenians will still be those who are disappointed with the result. So what are the expectations? In other words, in which directions is the Armenian lobby preparing to launch its attacks? This is both an ideological field, and they are trying to realize it by striving to apply various sanctions or by attacking Azerbaijan's reputation in international organizations. It is no secret that the Armenian lobby has been strengthened and organized in France, in Europe. At the same time, there are serious interests in the activity of the Armenian lobby in the West. This is done through both European officials in the West and Western officials who have secret, friendly relations with the Armenian diaspora. In other words, the West, which cannot draw a red line for its politicians who represent individual interests, loses its public reputation as a world superpower and is forced to maintain itself only in regional conflicts in a different form and as a party on the agenda. There are also some cases when the Armenian lobby attacks those it considers its enemies with its own weapon. Although they are engaged in separatism, they make same accusations against the other party. They accuse other states and nationalities of terrorism, whereas they hold terrorist organizations. Despite the fact that throughout the history, for 200 years, they committed political assassinations, terrors, and ethnic cleansing in accordance with the political interests of the West, France, and the USSR, they accuse others of the same issues. Of course, Azerbaijan holds a strong position on the same issue, because Azerbaijan offers to Armenians of Karabakh coexistence with Azerbaijanis. Azerbaijan officially announced the project of reintegration of the Armenians of Karabakh. Azerbaijan did everything what was necessary for the Armenians who voluntarily decided to leave Karabakh, and every moment of that process was video recorded. Azerbaijan did not destroy any historical, religious, cultural monument of the Armenians. However, during the 35 years of occupation, Armenia did not accept the offer of coexistence by Azerbaijan. It was the direct executor of 4 projects on the deportation of Azerbaijanis. It committed genocides, massacres, and created mass graves in Karabakh. It did not accept the terms of the reintegration project. It attempted to destroy the historical, religious, and cultural monuments of Azerbaijan, tried to delete the historical traces that Azerbaijanis lived in the region. By hiding the maps of the mine territories, it committed a mine terror against Azerbaijanis in the post-conflict period. It attacked the diplomatic missions of Azerbaijan in foreign countries. That is, if Armenia, its patrons, and the Armenian lobby put forward any claim in international courts, Azerbaijan will be ready to fight and resist each of these claims in a factual and justified manner. What remains to be seen is how determined the international organizations will be in the fight against the Armenian lobby and terrorist organizations. Most importantly, will they understand that the decisions they make are serving the mankind and humanity rather than favoring a Turkic and Muslim country?
October 25th marks 4 years since the beginning of Azerbaijan's chairmanship in the non-aligned movement. Azerbaijan will be in the top 3 of the NAM chairs for the next 3 years. This was stated in the release of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The release states that Azerbaijan will continue its efforts to strengthen the international authority and positions of the movement as one of the 3 NAM chairs. During its chairmanship, Azerbaijan pursued a policy aimed at restoring the former authority of the movement in the system of international relations and promoting the Bandung principles without contradicting any international actors. In the 4 years of its chairmanship, Azerbaijan took important steps to institutionalize the non-aligned movement by creating a parliamentary network and a non-youth organization based on the initiative of the head of state. October 25, 2020 was the 29th day of the Patriotic War. This date went down in history as the day of the liberation of the city of Qubadli. On this day, several villages of Zangilan, Jabrayil and Qubadli districts were liberated.
And on this day, 3 years ago, every Azerbaijani was anxiously awaiting news from the front line. On the 29th day of the war, fighting on the Aghdara, Khojavand, Fizuli, Hadrut, Qubadli and Laçın directions of the front continued with varying intensity. The Azerbaijani army dealt crushing blows to the enemy. On this day, 3 tanks, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, 6 artillery cannons, 1 Jaytsin B cannon, 2 Grad rocket launcher systems, 1 command control point, 9 units of vehicles and several firing points were destroyed. President Ilham Aliyev brought the most joyful news of the day to the people with a post on his Twitter page. The head of state wrote that as a result of successful operations, several villages of Zangilan, Jabrayil, Qubadli districts and the city of Qubadli were liberated from the occupation.
Sizin emrinizə əsasən Qubadli şəhəri işğaldan azad olunmuşdur. Hal-hazırda Qubadli şəhərində Azərbaycan Respublikasının...
Azerbaijan also successfully continued the fight in the information war. President Ilham Aliyev, in an interview with the American television channel Fox News, told the whole world about our just battle. Our army continued to fight for the territorial integrity of the motherland and liberated our native land from the enemy. There was still 15 days left before victory.
You can get in touch with us by contacting AzTV Khabar's hotline number 051-511-1956, through which you can report events you come across of, as well as share your suggestions and remarks. You can also contact us via our WhatsApp and Telegram accounts. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.